Hey, you made it to Simple Plan Trucking. Welcome. If you enjoy our channel, please subscribe by giving us a like and clicking the thumbs up. Also, click on the bell to be alerted when we release new content.
And if you're interested in joining the Prime family, follow the link in our description box below to driveforprime.com. When filling out your application, use our referral code GRAJDA. Reach out to us with any questions that you may have or call our Prime recruiter, Barbara Brown, at 417-521-3915.
Finally, we ask you to share our channel with friends and family who may be interested in trucking as a career. What we really want is to help people set and achieve goals they never thought possible. Let's get this video rolling.
Let's roll.
Hey friends, this is Captain Dave. Welcome back. I'm up here kind of flying solo right now. Brooke's in the back getting some rest. She's going to be driving tonight. We're sitting in Indianapolis, Indiana at the FedEx terminal waiting to pick up a load. It should be ready at about 7 this evening. We'll drive all night and deliver tomorrow sometime in Boston and then pick up another load out of there. So the other day, I guess a couple days ago, we actually had been in Florida and asked for a load to come up to Springfield. We had a reason we had to be there. My CPAP had malfunctioned. I went home to get my other machine, but if you know anything about those CPAPs, they have to be programmed so that Prime can then remotely pull that information off the machine to make sure that we're using it. So I knew I still needed to go by Prime. I also had a power source problem with it. It kept throwing a message, and as it turned out, my cord was bad, so I bought a new cord from Cardinal Sleep and got that taken care of. But it's funny, we like to go into the terminals to see friends and make new friends. It's always an enjoyable experience just to chill out. I say chill out, but we never really chill out. We're more busy when we're in the terminal than we are when we're driving. We just got so much done in one day that we're at the end of the day, we're racing just to get everything set up on the truck, get a trailer picked up. It usually needs a washout. You know, it's hectic getting out of the terminal when you're trying to, at a specific time. But we got a load out of Carthage, Missouri at the tunnels over there. Schreiber Foods, if you know that location. Brought that over to deliver yesterday afternoon in Olney, Illinois at the Walmart DC there. Then we deadheaded yesterday afternoon over here to Illinois, and we'll pick up this load tonight and go to Boston. But man, we just got so much done in there at Springfield. As I said, I got my CPAP worked on. We went by Success Leasing. We're real close to ordering our truck. It's not 6 months ahead that you order anymore. We're really down to like 4 months out. They told us that they still have a few orders to fill from August delivery. So when that's done, she said probably around the 1st of May that they'll be ready to take our order, and we are going to order our truck and head down the road to lease owner. So we've about decided for sure we're going to do that. We're going to buy the truck or pay for the truck, and at the end of 3 or 4 years, we'll have an asset. That truck will be ours. We also got a load of laundry done, a couple loads of laundry done. We had a bunch of that to catch up on. And for the first time, we sent Brooke to the chiropractor. She'd been having some neck pain, some, cervical pain in her upper back. And Dr. Pappas, I think his name is, did a great job, great bedside manner. She was a little apprehensive about it. She doesn't like people poking and prodding and snapping. And he twisted her every which way and got some big pops out of her. He told her she was locked up on both sides of her shoulders and neck. So she came out of there, I guess, a little sore from the treatment, but after time that wears off and is better. In addition, he recommended that if we were able to go upstairs to the salon, and there's a massage therapist there, and to have a massage. So we sent her directly up there. We got on a waiting list because we didn't have an appointment. And luckily they called at the end of the day in the evening and had a 30-minute slot. So she got a massage on her back and her neck and shoulders. And, you know, that's a big workout, really, when you're not used to that kind of thing. It was pretty deep, like a deep tissue massage. And she said it hurt, but kind of hurt in a good way. And, you know, today she's feeling better. She can turn her neck better side to side. So, you know, don't forget that that's an option for us at Prime. And, you know, if you have back problems or you have sore backs or joints or anything, he can really work on any joint for you that you want. But, you know, our jobs, because we sit so much, we get compression, you know, we do a lot of movement. When we're outside the truck, we don't move a lot. We sit in the truck most of the time. But when we're out, we're doing sort of strenuous things with the, you know, the crank handle and, you know, hooking up glad hands, opening the doors, that kind of thing. It's not a whole lot of exercise, but after you sit so long, it's real easy to stretch things or, you know, strain things or get injuries. So you have to be real careful. And injuries are not uncommon in trucking. So definitely consider that when you're going in, both chiropractic adjustments and a massage. Had time for dinner with our good friend John. Hey, John. And then we actually met a new friend, gentleman by the name of CJ, just happened to be in the terminal. He says he was there eating when we were eating, sat at the table next to us. We struck up a conversation with him. Longtime driver with Prime, wealth of knowledge. Listen, I say it all the time, but there's so much knowledge in that terminal. If you be just a little bit outgoing and introduce yourself, people will share with you incredible stories, and this guy has an incredible story. I won't share his story with you. That was kind of his story, but we're glad to know him, glad to have him as a friend, and more important, to have him as another mentor that we can add to our list. Okay, that's really it. We were just busy, got a lot done, got out of there. We're back on the road now. We'll probably be on the road until the end of May, beginning of June. It's going to be a long run for us. I guess we went home, you know, just for 4 hours to pick up my CPAP. But other than that visit, I'm guessing this might be one of our longest runs, 10 or maybe even 12 weeks before we go home for another week-long break. But, you know, that's our business, and that's trucking. You know, this is our simple plan. This is our 5-year plan, and we have to stay motivated. We have to stay driven, especially in this market. And we're still blessed that we're still making decent money, driving as a team out here. I know it's tough times for a lot of you, but just keep your nose to the grindstone, you know, and things are going to get better. I'm convinced of it. All right, so today I wanted to talk to you about something that people frequently ask me about. I get it in questions. Sometimes I get phone calls from people, and they don't understand a lot of the lingo that we throw around as truckers. And they don't really understand how you can drive at Prime, what the different divisions are within Prime, and also the difference between a company, a lease owner-op, and then also maybe even a company driver that drives for a small fleet. So I want to talk about the different divisions in Prime, and then also how you can be a driver. Let's start first with the 3 different divisions that we have at Prime. The lion's share of the business at Prime is in refrigerated freight. It's what Prime was founded on. We are the largest refrigerated carrier in the country. We haul more refrigerated freight by far than anything else, and we call those trucks reefer vans or reefer trailers. It's a 53-foot trailer. It's got sides and a top, and it has a refrigerated unit on the front of it, which you're able to control the temperature from -10 or -20 all the way up to room temperature 72 degrees. Some of our loads, you know, have to be slightly cool, or in the wintertime they have to be kept warm so that they don't freeze. So that's great that we can control the temperature. It's mostly food, pharmaceuticals, you know, medications, that kind of thing, food, drinks. That's pretty much what we haul in reefer. The second division would be flatbed. I think all of you know what a flatbed truck is. It's just, you know, it's just a trailer that is flat. It doesn't have sides. It doesn't have a roof. The loads are big. Sometimes they're bulky, or they're oversized, or they wouldn't fit on, in a truck, and so they're flat and they're strapped down. They have to, all the loads have to be secured. People that are flatbed truckers have to really want to do that. I believe it's a calling, because it's not easy. You know, it takes time and to properly secure a load, to make sure that it doesn't move or shift. And even if it's done properly, you know, sometimes stuff does move around. You have to be real careful. They're supposed to stop, I think, every 100 or 200 miles or every 2 hours. They have some parameters that they have to stop as flatbed drivers to check on their load and make sure that it's secured. And it takes time to secure those loads. And they have to secure the loads in the cold weather. They have to secure it in the blazing hot weather down in Florida in the middle of the summer when it's 100 degrees. And also in rainy weather. You know, if it's calls to be secured, they're up there on that trailer securing those loads. So I have a deep respect for the men and women that drive flatbed. It sure isn't something that I want to do. It's pretty much the same money as refrigerator. All of them make just about the same amount of money, and it has a whole lot more responsibility. So I think it definitely has to be a calling to want to do flatbed. The third division, I think, that's probably even a little smaller than flatbed would be, it's growing though, it's growing all the time, would be the tanker division. Most of you know what a tanker truck is. Those are those long silver cylinders. A lot of times you'll see milk being hauled in tanker. I don't know that we haul milk at Prime. We haul food grade products, a lot of chocolate and liquid chocolate like Hershey. I know we do some pet grade stuff as well, but it's all liquid that goes into the tanker trucks. We don't haul any petroleum or gasoline or any hazardous materials in tankers. There is a little bit of hazmat hauled by Prime, so if you have your hazmat endorsement, it's great, but not a whole lot of hazmat freight. And I don't think any hazmat freight is hauled in tanker. But tanker drivers out there, if you do haul hazmat, please correct me, let me know on that. Both flatbed and tanker are much smaller within Prime, but definitely are viable divisions. They've been part of Prime for a long time and should be in the future. They're both growing. So if you want to come to Prime, there is an opportunity, not just for reefer, but also in flatbed and tanker. And you can switch around whenever you want. Maybe you want to start in one, it's not your cup of tea. Prime makes it real easy to switch over and try another division out. You can do that if you want to. Okay. Next part I want to talk about is how you can operate at Prime as either a company driver. Company drivers are just that. They work for the company in the capacity that they earn cents per mile. A solo driver, brand new driver, starts out at 50 cents a mile, I believe, right now at Prime. They also earn cents for safety bonus, fuel bonus. I think they also earn a per diem, but for the most part, they drive this amount of miles and they earn this amount of money. Okay, I'm back. So as an example, if you were to drive 3,000 miles a week as a company driver and you made 50 cents a mile, you would earn $1,500, plus the extra incentives for safety and fuel incentive and a per diem. So, but basically, you drive this amount of money, here's the amount that you're going to earn. The next way that you can operate at Prime is to be what's known as a lease operator or a lease purchase operator. They are paid exactly the same. The difference is a lease operator signs a lease for a truck, and they basically, it's just a cost of doing business. They pay the cost of that truck, which with everything that you have to pay, you know, fixed expenses and some other expenses, it's about $1,500 a week. Now, the difference is for the owner-operators, they're going to sign a lease for a truck that when at the end of that lease, they're going to own that truck. It's an asset that they'll have. So they're paying exactly the same amount of money, $1,500. Both the lease operators and lease purchase operators have to earn $1,500 before they put a single cent in their pocket. So it's it can be stressful sometimes. but you earn 72% of the load. Whatever it costs for that load, whatever the customer is paying Prime for that load, the lease operators and the lease purchase operators earn 72% of the load. So, you know, if let's say the load paid $1,000, the lease operator would earn $720 on that load. So there's the potential to make more money as a lease operator, but there's also the potential to not. Generally speaking, you don't look at your success week to week as a lease operator. It's more month to month, quarter to quarter, every 6 months, or even year to year. And generally speaking, if you're a lease operator, you're going to make more money over a year than you would as a company driver. There's a third alternative that many new drivers aren't aware of, and that is to drive as a company driver for a small fleet or a micro fleet. These are fleets that are owned by other Prime drivers who have been here and have invested their money to buy additional trucks, and then they operate their small fleet within the boundary and under the authority of Prime. So there may be somebody with, 3 trucks, 5 trucks. I met somebody recently who has 15 trucks running under Prime's authority. And new drivers, both new drivers and experienced drivers, can come in through Prime, go through all of their qualifications, be trained at Prime, and then if they're interested in operating for a small fleet, they can contact the fleet owner, and they have the ability to do that. Why would someone choose to do that? Why would someone want to run for a small fleet as opposed to being a company driver or, a lease operator? Well, there's several reasons. Sometimes they can make slightly more money than they would as a company driver driving for Prime. The money is not really the main thing, though. It's not to make a ton more money. There are some things that both as a company driver and a driver for a small fleet, you don't have any overhead. All of that risk is taken on by the fleet owner, the other Prime driver. You don't have any of that. You don't have forced dispatch. Now, there will be some drivers out there who will say, "Oh, Prime really isn't for forced dispatch. I get to turn down loads if I want to." Well, that kind of comes with time. Sometimes when you're an experienced driver, you've been here for years and you've developed the relationship with that fleet manager. For the most part, new drivers are expected to take the loads that are given to them. Unless, you have a darn good reason not to take the load, you're going to be running pretty much every load as a company driver. So no forced dispatch. When you work for a small fleet, you operate sort of as a owner-operator, in that you can accept a load, or if it's not somewhere that you want to go for whatever reason, you can turn that load down. Should you turn down a lot of loads? No. Most of the loads are pretty good. As a lease operator now, it is rare that I turn down a load, but it sure is nice to have that option to do that when we want to. And as a company driver working for a small fleet, you have that option as well. Probably the biggest benefit, though, I see in driving for a small fleet is that if you choose the right fleet owner, he is going to mentor you and he is going to teach you over the time that you're driving for him how to be successful as an owner-operator. You can come right into fleet, right into Prime. You can go through your training and boom, get into a truck. And you can be, a lease owner or an owner-operator. Prime will sell you a truck. Prime will let you start making payments just as soon as you finish training. Is that a smart idea, though? Well, maybe for some people. If you have run a business before, or you're really good with numbers, or you're very organized, and you're on top of things, and you know about taxes, and you know how to put enough money away, every week for taxes. Okay, so I wanted to come back and tell this part of the story again. I met a gentleman in a terminal who for 5 years had been a company driver and recently switched to lease last year. He decided he wanted to be a lease operator. Well, he came, you would think that he would know, taking the time to learn before he did this, but he went his first year and didn't put back any money for taxes. I know he had to go through the class where he was taught to do that, but he didn't do that. So the tax bill comes around this year in February, and whoever his accounting company was, if he had one, called him in and said, hey, we haven't seen that you've paid anything for your taxes, and it's tax time now. And he said, oh, I didn't save any money for my taxes. Oh my gosh. So here's this guy, he had to go on a plan now to over time pay back his taxes for last year. And guess what? He still has to save money for this year, for everything that he's earning this year to pay taxes. So he's having to climb out of the hole already, starting in his second year with as a lease operator. So I tell that story to just say, just because Prime allows you to jump off and to buy a truck and rent a truck, doesn't mean that everybody should choose to do that. Some people are just not good with saving. Some people have no idea what the difference between gross revenue to the truck and net profit is. And if you can't define those things, if you can't say what those are, then you probably have no business being a lease operator, owner operator. It's only going to spell disaster for you. So all that to say, as a company driver working for a small fleet, you're going to be driving for someone who does know how to do that and is doing successfully. He's done it successfully with one truck by himself. Then he's added 2 trucks and 3 trucks and 4 trucks. And he's choosing quality people who are highly motivated to come in and trust them to drive his trucks, probably pays them a little bit better. They get to choose the loads that they want. They get to go home whenever they want without any hassle. And it's pretty easy to go home at Prime. But sometimes drivers do struggle with their fleet managers getting home when they want to go home. You're working that relationship just with your boss, the person that owns your truck. And sometimes that one-on-one relationship is easier to work. But the biggest benefit of all is the experience and knowledge that you'll get from that person to help you to jump off and be successful as a lease operator or an owner operator on your own one day. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you to understand the different divisions at Prime that you can drive for, and also the differences between a company driver, a lease/lease purchase operator, and a company driver that drives for a small fleet. If you have any questions, please give me a call. I'm here to answer anything that I can. Love to talk with you. Comment below. Give me some ideas for other topics that you'd like me to talk about. And I'll have Brooke out here with me again real soon. It's been good talking with you today. This is Captain Dave with Simple Plan Trucking. Be safe, and we'll be seeing you on the road. Bye now.